Hi everyone, it's Karen and I'm back with my first design team project for the month of August for AngeldreamCraftsKim on Etsy. And I will leave links in the description box below to her beautiful Etsy shop so you can go over and see what she has in the shop and pick up some goodies and do some creating of your own. I hope that I inspire you with these two beautiful projects. Also, I will leave links to all the designers currently designing for Kim, and you can go over and check out what goodies they received and what they are creating for AngeldreamCraftsKim. What I wanted to create was a couple of these little mini books. I saw them a couple of months ago now, I think. It might even been more than that. Lene on Grace and Lace introduced them. And she is the first person I saw create these pretty little books. I will try and find her video and link it in the description box below as well, so you can go over and see what she created and how she created them, because I've done my own spin on them. I did do one initially that was very much the style of what she created. I created another one that I put in my little lace and doily book that I've recently sold. And then I wanted to create some with these beautiful laces from Kim's shop. There's two of them. One is in this little bag and one is here. They're both created with paper and with all the beautiful laces from Kim's shop and blings, but they're just slightly different. And this just shows you how you can make them and how different they can be. So this one, I chose this pretty chiffon ribbon from my stash to tie this one closed with. You can see the gorgeous blings and that on the front from Kim's shop. So let's untie her and I will show you what she looks like. So this comes right off, and actually she does lie flat. She's a big gator mouth because look at all those yummy laces. I laced every single page on both sides, so that's where it went. But I think she's gorgeous. So on the front is part of the pink applique that I had in my design team package, and then I overlaid the beaded one that I had bought myself from her shop. That's one of my favorites, and I cut pieces of that. And then there's pieces of the other lace that I got with the pink roses and the bows on it. That's underneath here as well. And then I added the beautiful piece of bling that she sent, and then I added a couple of little pieces from my stash, and then I made a beautiful little tassel on the side here from the tassel trim that I had purchased from her shop, and that's one of my favorite tassel trims. And then this is one of her little acrylic flowers with the little rhinestones in the center, and they have like a sparkle on them as well. And then I just added a couple of strands of ribbon with some beads on them as well to add even more sparkle to that tassel. And then the back is the paper with an overlay of vellum on top, and then the applique with that beautiful pink one. I just cut it into different pieces to fit on there. And then I added a little heart, sparkly heart here right at on the edge here. Kim always has hearts of some kind in her shop. This is one from a while ago, but she has some in her shop right now too. So let's go inside and have a look at how I created this one. Right away, there's one of the beautiful roses from that peachy pink lace that she sent. And I've made it into a tuck spot here. And I've just, throughout this little book, I've added in little bits of ephemera that I thought looked pretty on the pages. For me, it was all about using Kim's beautiful laces and making the pages pretty, and then I just added a few things. So on this page, we have this beautiful trim that she sent with the pink flowers, and I made it into a belly band, and there's a couple of little tags in there. This page is a couple of the laces. This is the flat lace that I got, and I think that was in my purchase video of some of my favorite laces that I buy from Kim's shop, but all these laces are from Kim's shop unless I say otherwise. And then this is the white and pink one again. So I've built up the little tuck spot on the side using two different laces. This is a piece off the bridal lace, and some of the flowers and some of the mesh part of it. And this is also a tuck spot as well as the pretty paper. Next page, I also used a piece of that bridal trim, and I created a little tuck spot here with the flower and some of the leaves and some of the scroll work, and I added a flat back pearl there in the center of that one. This is just a piece of, got it paper clipped or clipped here, little just piece of fancy paper that I added in there for interest. And then this page I used the really pretty dainty floral trim and added that all around the edge and a little bit of the flat trim up here. And I created a little tuck area here with a digital and a butterfly, and then I made a little, this is a baby clothespin, miniature. I thought, wow, miniature clothespins, they gotta go in this book, right? I have decorated both sides of it with just a little bits of laces from Kim's shop and the little hearts. And this piece of lace coming down here is also from Kim's shop. And it's the one flat lace that was in my design team package. And this is that same lace on this side, but with an overlay of a leaf trim and some of the other flowers from the other lace. And I just cut them out. And here's the other side of that little baby clothespin, a little bit of that sparkly mesh, part of that one lace and one of her little flowers, acrylic flowers. This side is the bottom of one of the laces, one of the wide laces that I purchased, and I just used a portion of that lace there, and then I did an overlay on top of it as well with leaves and the little button from my stash. And that's also is like a little tuck spot. I didn't tuck something into every one of the spots because it would have been more than a gator mouth. I always leave them open to being tuck spots so that people can use it, you know, for whatever reason they might want to. They might want to tuck more things into it. They want to take some of the things out that I've put in. I thought this little journal especially would be a lovely little prayer journal because you could easily write, you know, your prayer requests and names of people, not only on the pages, but also on the backs of the little pieces that are tucked into the spots as well. So it would be really, really nice for that. You could also add in little Bible verses or that kind of thing too. Be really easy to add in on the pages. You can write on a page like this very easily with just a black ink pen. So here's another beautiful piece of Kim's lace all down this side, and one of the little bridal flowers cut out. And again, this is a tuck spot here. I think I might have forgot to mention this one. And it's again the same as this side. I put the laces back to back, and then I added that pink lace as an overlay on that one. Here's that peachy pink lace with the gold in the center, and then the pink leaves as well. So two trims here, creating this beautiful scrolly effect down the side of the page, and a beautiful tuck spot for this little hummingbird digital. Here I used the ribbon that she had tied my design team package with. I used that to create a pocket, and I have put these two little pieces in here, a little journal card and a little tag tucked in there. And then there's room, of course, behind as well to journal or to write your prayer requests. A little flower from the lace that was with the roses, and then this is also one of the laces down the side here, a piece of it, and then some of the little felt hearts added on top. Again, that pretty pink lace, just some of the flowers, and then some flowers from another lace, and then a little acrylic piece from my stash, a little bit of a doily and paper, and then here's that pretty lace again, the flat one in the background, and then on this I overlaid the sparkly one that she sent me in the pink with the flowers and the sparkly sequins, and again that is a tuck as well. On this side I put the floral trim again, that really delicate pretty floral trim, and then I created a spot here to put in some ephemera. There's a blank page on the back for writing on, and then more pieces in here for writing on as well. This side again, that pretty pink and gold trim, and a lot of them I left hanging over the edges of the pages too, so that there was that look on the edge of all the prettiness. And again, it's a tuck spot, and then there's another little one of these little mini clothespins here, and this one has a little flower on this side. This was from my stash, and then on this side is a leaf from Kim's trim, one of Kim's trims, and a little rose, paper rose from a digital. And I just tucked it in behind the lace there, so you really can't see the rest of that clothespin. They're sort of a clear acrylic, so they're not really very noticeable anyway. This, I created a little flip on this page with that pretty sparkly trim with the florals and the sequins on it. So this flips up, and there's a blank page underneath for writing on, and then I just added in this pretty little hummingbird fussy cut with the lily. And on this side is another beautiful piece of lace, and then I added florals on top of it, and I created a butterfly from one of the pieces that's in the sequins. I think it's like that fabric, often the pieces look almost like little stars, these ones, and so I just take off one of the little parts of it and make it into a butterfly. I added some more lace on top that's also from this other trim, and then added some flat back pearls, and again there's a blank page behind there, and then I tucked this little journaling card on top where the book is sewn together with some ribbon. So it's a one signature little book. Again, beautiful piece of one of my favorite laces from Kim's shop, and I just added the piece there. And then on this side is that white one, or the white and pink one again. I love how it scrolls, and I actually pieced this together to make two scrolls coming here, and then added the more pink flowers in, layered them up a bit and layered them. So I cut them all kind of separately and added them together. And then I just tucked some cute little ephemera in there. These two pages, I actually I put them together to create a pocket. And in the pocket here, I've put a little booklet, just a little one with some pages to write on. And I've added I added a little tab on the top, and then I added part of one of Kim's embellishments. She has, oh, it's on the front of this bag actually, you can see it here. This really pretty embellishment with the rosebuds and the gold trim. So I used the rosebud and the green leaves on this side, and then on this side I took the ribbon off and I made it smaller, and I added it on this side with some of the sequin trim, and that just fits into that little pocket really easily actually. And on this side is a piece of leaf trim in the pink, and then one of the flowers and some little tendrils from one of the laces, and I believe that's the same one that has the roses on it. It has these little white flowers and also these little bits on it too. On this side we have a piece of the sequin trim from the bridal trim, an overlay of the pink applique, and then another floral from another lace. So creating this whole swirly piece on the side, little digital tucked in there, some butterflies. I love butterflies, so I've kind of added them throughout wherever I feel. I have a digital of butterflies, and I can size them to whatever I want. So I've got these little teeny ones that they're really fun to fussy cut out, but I love them, so I just do it. And then on the back, this lace I put on this side, and it's that bridal lace again, but I wanted it to stick out on the side of the page. So on this side you see quite a bit of the stitching, and sometimes I leave it, but this time I wanted something more there. So what I did was I just hand stitched some of the matching sequins. I took them off the lace on a piece that I wasn't using, and I just hand stitched them on here with a single strand of embroidery floss. So that's what you see sparkling along the sides there. A little extra effort, but I just thought it looked nice and I liked it. So sometimes things are just worth the effort. Another little piece of fancy paper just for interest, And then here's that white flat lace again, and this time I overlaid it with, again, with the peachy pink roses or flowers from that rose trim, and some of the leaves. A little green butterfly is there, and then there's a couple of pieces of ephemera in there as well. And that's there's a blank page behind there, which is good for lots of easy writing if you chose to use this little book for that. Another little tuck spot here, that same beautiful cottony flat lace has a beautiful sort of a picot-y kind of edge here on it. I think it's very pretty. And then I overlaid that with some of the bridal trim and a couple of the peachy pink flowers from the one rose trim. And then again, these flowers are from that same trim. They match so well with this little digital with the roses on it, and that's a little pocket there, and I've just put a little rose tag in there too. And then this is the lace that matches the one with the pink roses. I keep mentioning it. I should grab a piece of it here and show you, because it's really quite versatile. I used it on my last project. This is it here. So every time I've said that's the one with the pink roses, you see it has this beautiful mesh piece, it has these pink roses, it has all these different florals. There's the little ones that I've said, there's the little sprays, and there's some of the bigger ones. And I didn't use any of the blue ones in this particular journal, but yeah, there's a lot there to use in this lace, and I have. And it has a lovely sheen to the thread on it too, so it looks really pretty. And then on the back side is another piece from the bridal trim. This is one of the beautiful scrolls, and then some of the leaf work. And I just left it for, of course, you can easily write on the page, and then you could also use that as a tuck spot. Another piece of paper for interest. And then this beautiful, I love this trim. This is one of the ones I bought in my favorites. It's a very light peachy pink color with the gold thread in it. It's so pretty, and so pretty to cut up. I used another piece of it there with the butterfly on it, and again a little piece of ephemera tucked in there, blank page behind. And then on this side, another piece of the lace that I really like, beautiful lace and I added some pink butterflies. And on this one, I just added this little rose piece here as an extra little hold for a tuck spot. And then I added this piece in here. And then it all fits together there and holds really nicely. I said I was going to make this video fast, and it's really hard to do when you want to show all the details, and I haven't even shown you the other book yet. So this one is created with a bunch of little pieces. This is the heart trim lace. This is one of the little trims I call the fuchsia trim lace. And then I've added a little journaling spot in there too, a little tag. And then I've made covered another one of the little clothespins. And this time it's covered with a tiny little bit of the lace from where the pink lace comes from, and then one of her pretty little acrylic flowers, and then at the very top were these little spots, and I put some little flat backs on there. And on this side I just put a little strip of lace and a little teeny tiny butterfly. And again, I just clipped that to the top of the page. I just thought they looked really pretty. I just added something different, and I wanted to play a little bit with those little clothespins. And then last page is the leaf trim that Kim had put in my design team package on the outside edge. It's such a pretty trim. Added a little butterfly, and then that's it for that page. And then this page I did a fold over from the cover to create a pocket here. And I just added one of the beautiful roses from that trim, and that beautiful peachy pink color. And then it's a tuck spot. So in the tuck spot is a little tag. It says Crafty Joy with some beautiful trim on it of that one lace that I love so much. And then this is just a little flippy book, just with some brads and some pretty leaf trim on it. And then it flips down, so it gives you lots of space to write in. And I just tucked that into that pocket as well. So a couple of pretty things in the back pocket. And there she is. So that's that one. And I'll just set her aside here. And now I'm going to show you this one, and I hope you're still with me. Sorry it's taking long, but hopefully you're enjoying seeing these pretties. So I wanted to put this one in a bag. I just wanted to do something different. This one I wanted to tie closed with the beautiful big ribbon. This one I wanted to put in a little bag to show you different ways that you could give these. I used a piece of that gorgeous bridal trim, a great big piece of it. It just, the way it swooped, it just fit on this bag so perfectly. And then I added an extra little piece here. This is an extra piece I cut and added there. Same on this side. Added one of her pretty little gold ribbons with the little rosettes on there. And this is an extra flower that I cut out of the trim as well and added that right there. And then the flat back pearls are from my stash. And this little cotton bag is just from my stash. Just something that I had. Oh, and I think I put a little bit on the back. Just let me look. Oh yeah, I did. I put a little bit of that bridal trim on the back too. So just a little collection, one of the scrolls, one of the bigger flowers, 3 of the little flowers, and some leaves. And I like to do that. I like to cut the laces apart and rearrange them the way that I want them to be. Every once in a while I use them as a whole, like I did here, and then I just built on it and added to it. So this is the little one that is inside. I'm going to move that one aside just so that you're able to focus on this one. So this is the one that's inside there. She's more fabric and less paper. So she's more of the laces and some more of the fabric lace pieces. And she's not quite as wide-mouthed, but she has a sort of a different she doesn't have a lot of ephemera stuck in her. She has more of the idea that Lene had, and that's to put little treasures in her. So I will show you that. First, I will show you the front. I used this beautiful leaf trim I still had in my stash from Kim's shop. It was gorgeous. I don't think she has it right now, but she hopefully is going to get that back in. It's beautiful. And then I added some of the edel trim on the front. And then this is where I sewed in this, like the pages like signatures and like a signature. And then I put beads down the spine, and then I added one of Kim's gorgeous bows in with all the beads that she sent me. And then from there I've dangled off, made a beautiful dangle out of the pink leaf trim and that other dangle trim that I love so much. And then on the back is just continuation of the beautiful goldy colored leaf trim and then more of that bridal trim. And then she is tied shut with 2 iridescent little ribbons and some baubles on the end of them. Kim has some similar baubles, or had similar baubles in her shop. These ones are from my stash. And she's very, very chunky too in her own way. This is the inside of the first page. This is where I use fabric. This is the sparkle fabric that I had from a previous design team package, and I used that for this page and of course the matching page on the other side. And I just added some of her beautiful laces and pieces of the laces, little cutoffs that I had. You know, when you're creating another project, you often cut little pieces and then you don't use them, and this was the perfect opportunity to use them up. Then this is the idea that Lene had, and that is to create the pages and put like an overlay. Like on this one is a pink piece of paper, pink and white, and then an overlay of Kim's beautiful heart trim. And you could use any type of fabric that's quite see-through, like this has got a beautiful, you can see it through it. And then you put treasures on the page underneath. And when you give it to someone, they can either enjoy it the way it is, or if they really love one of the treasures, they can actually take up some of the stitches that you have stitched and take the treasure out and use it. So in this one, I've used 3 of Kim's cabochons and 1 of her little perfume charms. And then on the edge of the page, I have put one of the beautiful gold and rosette trim pieces that was in my design team package. And this is also one of the laces from her shop, just a little piece I had left, and I put it down the side and I added a little pearl there. And so this is all hand stitched here with just long straight stitches with embroidery floss that just holds the netting down, but that's what you could just cut the stitches there and be able to take the goodies out. So this page is another one of that beautiful fabric with the sequins all done on it. That was from Kim's shop. And then the overlay, of course, is you can recognize this beautiful trim that was in my design team package. And there's the leaf trim as well. And I've added some flat back pearls. And then on this side is another treasure page, and so there's paper, and then there's an overlay of this fabric that had this embroidery on it, this here and this flower. And then you can see I've added in there one of the beautiful pink and rhinestone baubles from Kim's shop. That's a flat back, and then a beautiful rose charm. And then on top of that, I've overlaid some of the trim from the bridal trim with some flat backs from my stash. This is the beautiful pink leaf trim. And then this is a little butterfly that I created from one of the pink flowers from that trim that has all the sparkles on it. There's flowers, or yeah, there's flowers on it. And I just take one of the petals off and create a little butterfly on that page. This one has the sequins in the background again, and it has those beautiful pink roses from that one lace that I just showed you. I used the two of them on there and added a butterfly with some stickles on it. And on this page, I used a see-through fabric with has some stars on it, and then I used this floral trim down the side and more of the bridal trim here and a little bit of floral trim there. And this is stitched again. You can see the stitching. And then underneath is a little flat back from Kim's shop, one of her little pretty hearts from her shop, and one of her pretty cabochons. And you can see the paper in between the layers here. And then on this side is the middle of the book. So I did a full spread here. And I did layers. I've got some of the leaf trim. I've got some of the heart trim. I've got a full piece here and just a heart here. And then one of her beautiful bird nest charms right here. And then lots of little flowers cut out of the different laces and added with some flat back pearls. Some of the peachy pink ones, leaves and flowers. And some of the sequins. And you can see it's tied in the center here. The signature is sewn with the embroidery floss. And on this page, I've just done 4 big French knots at the top with some stitching just to add that in on the page. Just to add a little bit more of the slow stitching in. This is another paper page in the background with the different pinks, an overlay of the netted heart trim. And then I also, before I did the overlay, I did some of the pink applique on the paper first, then did the overlay with the hearts, then did another piece of the applique on top. So you get like a 2-level effect because some of it's underneath the actual netting and some's over top. I used another piece of that heart trim and little bits of it along the bottom here. I cut little parts of it off, and then I added one of her pretty little buttons that she had sent me in my design team package, and I just tied some embroidery floss in there. Here's another one of the pages made with fabric, and it's the sequin fabric with an overlay of pink applique and pink flowers. Those are from that sparkly trim. There's a little bit of that sparkly trim in there as well, and then I made a little butterfly out of part of a flower and added a little bling in the center. This page is created with paper in the background and an overlay of that white embroidered lace from Kim's shop. And then in between is wedged one of the little wooden butterflies that I have from her shop. I'm not sure she still has them in the shop, but I still had it in my stash. And what I did was I ran my finger over it to dull down the color with a bit of gesso, and then I also put some sparkle on it with, I'm pretty sure I used stickles. And then I tucked it there underneath the lace. And then I added one of more of those gorgeous blings that she had sent me in my design team package. I added that there and made another little butterfly with the flower from the one trim, and added the same trim is where these sequins are on, and I added those in the center and down the way. And some flat backs, those are from my stash. And this little piece running down the side here is also from the bridal trim. It's just one of the parts of it, and I just cut it off and put it there. And then the final page is on the sequin fabric and paper. And to make it a little bit heavier for the back cover, I added in the beautiful pink and white trim that's you've seen used. I used up that entire bit of trim that she sent me in that between the books, the rest that I had. And then I used a flower from my stash, a little tiny doily from my stash, and then this little bit of satin flower, and the rose in the center is from Kim's shop. I just pulled this rose apart and flattened it out and then added that little rose in the center. And then that's the back with all the beautiful bridal trim on it. So those are the two little books that I created. They're really so much fun to make, and you can use just small amounts of laces, so your laces and trims go a long way, and they turn out so pretty. So there's the two of them. And like I said, this one goes inside the bag. And this one, I have this gorgeous chiffon ribbon tied around it. Because I just thought it just went really well with this one. And she was just too big to fit in any kind of little bag that I had. There was no little bag that was going to contain her. She would not be contained. So that's the way it goes sometimes. So I hope that you have found these two little projects inspirational, and that you will go and pick up yourself some goodies from Kim's shop, and that you will check out the other designers and see what they're up to and see what they're creating to inspire you. And these little books will be for sale. You can contact me through my email, which is always in the description box, if you are interested in purchasing them, and we can talk pricing and shipping and all that stuff privately. So I hope that you are all having a wonderful start to your week, and that you are enjoying your summer. I know for some it's soon coming to a close as back to school is approaching quickly, but I hope you all enjoy whatever time you have left with family and friends. And I will talk to you all soon. Bye for now.